North Korea fired 200 artillery shells, sparking tensions in the Korean Peninsula. Now, the launches near South Korean border islands prompted the evacuation of residents there. South Korea has ordered the military to be ready in the island of Baekhyun and Yeongpyeong. No damage has been reported so far.
2023년 11월 20.
This was North Korea resuming artillery firing inside the buffer zone of the West Coast after unilaterally announcing the annulment of 9.19 military agreement back in November 2023. It is a provocation that threatens peace and heightens tension in the Korean Peninsula.
책임은 전적으로 북한에게 있음을 엄중 경고하며
This comes as North Korea has vowed a strong response to the U.S.-South Korea military cooperation. South Korea and U.S. troops conducted joint combat firing drills near the border with North Korea involving heavy weapons. The drills took place over a week that ended on Thursday. Last week, in a key ruling party meeting, the North Korean leader vowed to expand the country's nuclear arsenal, launch 3 additional military spy satellites, and build up its military this year. Kim cited the recent joint U.S.-South Korean military drills as the reason to acquire overwhelming war readiness. For more on this, we are being joined live by Soo-young-oh from Seoul, who is a senior South Korean journalist at Arirang TV. Thank you for being with us. Now, South Korea has vowed a response to the shelling. What kind of response can we expect here?
Well, the response so far, Alison, it's been to, of course, get people to safety. So the military authorities, they ordered an evacuation for the some 2,000 residents of Yeongpyeong-do Island, and the orders were they came in hot at first at 12:20 p.m. and again at 12:30 and every 30 minutes afterwards, and it's still in they're still in a state of evacuation. And as your report mentioned, there's been no report so far of any harm to the South Korean people or the military. And of course, the Joint Chiefs of Staff, they caught wind of these artillery firings happening between 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. this morning from North Korea's southwestern coast. And these shells, as mentioned, they landed in the maritime buffer zone north of the Northern Limit Line, which is basically the unofficial maritime border in the Yellow Sea. Now, this buffer zone, it was initially set up in 2018 in the September 19th agreement, again mentioned in your report, in order to ease tensions between the two Koreas, but North Korea has violated that, of course. The Joint Chiefs of Staff spokesperson called this a very provocative act, and he warned that North Korea is solely responsible for any crisis that may crop up. And in response to North Korea's move, the JCS, the South Korean military, they're gearing up for live fire drills on the northwestern border islands in the Yellow Sea later today. We have to keep an eye out for that one. And they're also keeping a close eye on things, of course, because they plan to take corresponding measures, presumably hand in hand with the United States. Perhaps they'll also consult Japan, the 3 countries having formed a trilateral cooperation mechanism last year, last August in Camp David. So we'll have to keep a watch on things, on what kind of exercises they conduct and how these 2 or 3 countries may come together to initiate this response. But we can see that South Korea has a solid support system behind it.
Absolutely. And Soo-young, can you shed some light for us on why the shelling has taken place? Is there any significance in terms of the timing?
Right, so with North Korea and in any provocations that they decide to conduct, it looks like they're always looking for the timing, as you said. And as you mentioned actually earlier, South Korea and the United States, they actually held a joint live fire exercise near the North Korean border in order to enhance their combined combat readiness. And the army actually announced this on Thursday. And the drills, they are actually set to continue until today on Friday. And this is, of course, an annual exercise that takes place between the two sides and quite regular. But North Korea obviously takes this as a form of provocation in itself. And North Korean media, they've criticized these drills between South Korea and the US, calling the move self-destructive. And so that obviously hasn't helped. And all of this, of course, also comes on the back of stronger bilateral cooperation between South Korea and the United States. President Yoon, in his New Year's address a few days ago, actually said that Seoul and Washington plan to complete their extended deterrent system to deter, in order to deter any missile or nuclear provocation from North Korea. And the deadline is this June, because the two sides formed the Nuclear Consultative Group last year, which was formed between the two sides in order to take a nuclear response to North Korea's obviously growing nuclear capabilities. Now, that itself was unprecedented, but with the nuclear joint conduct guidelines coming around this June, North Korea is obviously feeling the heat, which may explain its recent course of actions.
Soo-young, thank you very much for being with us and sharing those details there.
Thanks very much, Alison.